All right, so let's get into SCAREFEST.
Yes.
For those who don't know, we do this every October. We do this little bracket system. Not only do we vote, but we also allow audience to vote on which movie is basically the best horror movie in this bracket. We start off with like certain categories, and then we just narrow it down. So for this year, we are starting with first category is Cringe Fest. So we thought of two cringy horror movies that are just so bad that they're great. We have Troll 2. It's crazy because both of these movies are part twos. Troll 2 versus Silent Night, Deadly Night, part 2. And then for the next category, we have part 2, but not really. These were two movies that were technically sequels to like a famous franchise, but also felt like a reboot.
Yeah, they also had the reboot, and they basically dropped the other IPs that came out previously.
Yeah, so it's like, all right, we're just gonna stick to like this is a continuation of the first one.
They
and
realized,
fuck all the
the first one was
sequels.
good. The rest of one you're doing was just trash because everybody know that's for horror movies. It seemed like that was the way to go. Like they make the first one, they put so much heart into the first movie that it just seems like the second movie and the third movies are just like, we're just trying to get the money. We're just trying to milk this thing now. And I guess these directors and producers realize that we can actually make a good part 2 movie.
Yeah. So this is the name of the category is part 2, but not really. And this is the 2018 Halloween versus 2021 Candyman. Two great movies, both very fun to watch. Next category, we got gentrification. We got Vampires versus the Bronx versus Attack the Block, which I'm also excited about.
If you've seen both of these movies, you understand why we called it gentrification. Because this movie is full of gentrification. Either you're trying to gentrify the planet, or you're just trying to gentrify the Bronx. Either ways.
Next category, we have not made for TV. So these were two TV series that were a continuation from the original movies that they spawned from, and they were great. They were so good they could have been movies, but they were so good they had to be TV series because just the storytelling was great, acting was great, and they're both a funny horror series. So not made for TV is Ash versus the Evil Dead versus
just the lore, man. The lore itself.
Yes,
it's like you need a TV show.
Yeah. So Ash versus the Evil Dead versus What We Do in the Shadows. Next category after that is Make America Afraid Again. And this is Lovecraft Country versus American Horror Story. Are we going after a specific season of American Horror Story or just in general?
I would say in general. Because pretty much what Lovecraft did in one season, they covered everything that American Horror Story did in their whole series.
There we go.
So, yeah, it's one series versus, a series as well, because this is only a one and done for Lovecraft Country, because they're not coming out with a season 2.
Gotcha. All right.
Series versus series.
Next category is No School Like the Old School. We got The Babysitter. This is both, I guess, the both movies.
Yeah.
Versus the Fear Street series, part 1, 2, and 3 on Netflix. Next category, we have Silent But Deadly. This is Don't Breathe part 2 versus A Quiet Place part 2. We got a good variety on this list.
This is a good list.
And what else do we got for the month of October to celebrate?
Oh, we got Spooky Empire.
We got Spooky Empire, which we're gonna go check out, which I'm super excited about because I think that's me personally. That's been my favorite convention because one thing I loved about the last time we went to Spooky Empire. So when we went to SuperCon for the first time and we made a video, one of the questions that we asked was regarding like Back to the Future, and we encountered a bunch of people that said like, oh, I never saw that movie. Oh, did you see the Goonies? No, I never saw that movie. And I'm like, what is going on? When we went to Spooky Empire, I feel like we didn't have any problems asking people questions because like everybody was enthusiastic about, yeah, let's talk about horror movies. Like, all right, cool, I'm in. And like everybody was just like so excited to talk about like movies. So I think that was one of the reasons why I loved going.
I'm trying to figure out why is that, because maybe because we've seen a lot of. Is there just a lot more young people at?
I think, but SuperCon is not.
SuperCon?
I think SuperCon is not just movies though. I think like you got the kids that are there to meet their comic book artists. You got the kids that are there because of anime. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like these little specific things. But for like Spooky Empire, it's like everyone there. Like even if you're there to see your favorite like author of your favorite horror novel, you still watch scary movies.
Yeah,
like,
and you know another thing, it's like as much as horror has grown and been more accessible to the people, to the masses, they don't have like their Freddy Kruegers, their Michael Myers, their Jasons and shit like that. Like, just what's this generation's Michael Myers, Jason, or something like that? What's that guy? James Wan. He has the Nun.
Mm-hmm. The Nun, The Conjuring.
The Conjuring kind of stuff. But most of those things are like just one-off ghosts. Like, you see them once in the movie and you never see them again, except the Nun. I mean, I guess there's like 3. There's the Annabelle, the doll kind of thing. That's their version of Chucky kind of thing. But they don't have like a character that's like, it's a staple of what horror is, like what scares you kind of shit. Like if you was to tell this generation and they've never seen like previous IPs, right? If we was to say like, yo, what horror movie character scares you the most? I don't think they'll have anybody. Like we had motherfuckers that were scary. Like you could say It. You could say fucking Freddy Krueger. You could say Jason. You could say actually that was Pennywise. My bad. Who else?
Michael Myers.
Fucking even Candyman.